And the deal between Israel and the UAE has been dominating headlines. The third Islamic country in the world after Jordan and Egypt to establish formal diplomatic relations with the land of milk and honey. The agreement has far-reaching implications. The first and foremost being what Donald Trump stands to gain. Donald Trump will have another notch on his belt. He needs all the laurels he can get before November to pivot public sentiment and approval towards a possible re-election. In his own words, Donald Trump's chances are not that great. He admitted, and I'm quoting, "Nobody likes me," in the beginning of August. Foreign policy observers saying the landmark deal vindicates President Trump's policy of strengthening America's alliance with Israel and countering Islamic extremism. Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Ambassador David Friedman, America's apparent two-man West Asia dream team, have made Donald Trump emerge as the principal architect of a decision that further strengthens American-Israeli ties and rallies Arab states other than Iran towards Israel. For Benjamin Netanyahu, who is currently facing unprecedented graft charges back home, taking a more liberal and nuanced approach from his original plan to annex 30% of the West Bank stabilizes his rather shaky coalition with rival Benny Gantz, who espouses a similar position on Palestine. It has provided him the opportunity to emerge from the political box he forced himself in by earlier taking a hardline, untenable position on Israeli settlements that, however, miffed his far-right base. When it comes to the region's geopolitics, both Israel and the Emirates, by crediting Donald Trump for this achievement, will get to advance their positions further in Washington. The deal turns up the heat on Palestine, either to agree to the terms or find themselves further isolated from the cover of other Islamic nations, and like those on the inside track have known for years. Israel's intelligence agency, the Mossad, has long maintained secret relations with the Emirates. The deal solidly legitimizes a formerly clandestine bilateral relationship which rested on mutual hatred of Iran. Meanwhile, establishing formal diplomatic relations and starting direct airline flights means that Muslims from the UAE will now be able to fly to Israel and visit the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. That alone shreds claims from Islamists that Israel prevents them from worship. And a look now at how India stands to gain from this. The Narendra Modi government has always been a great ally to Israel's Netanyahu. On the other hand, the Emirates also counting India as a deeply valued friend. So with other Arab nations likely to come together in endorsing a favorable Israel, this means a better diplomatic environment and opportunity for India. Opportunities, for instance, that provide India a chance to keep Pakistan on the back foot. Soon, countries like Saudi Arabia, Oman, and even Bahrain may back the UAE on this. India, hence, will find it easier to facilitate the concerns of its diaspora in the Islamic world, and amid Pakistan scoring a self-goal with Saudi Arabia recently, the peace accord signals that perhaps the Islamic world is beginning to move on from the Palestine and even the Kashmir issue.